put your seats out there because I was going to try and fire up a vibe. Yeah, let me get through this and I'm all yours, baby. Hi, it's me, Dave Crane, and the music will stop. 1, 2, 3, gone. Welcome to Speak on Stage. Actually, it's not Speak on Stage. Today it's actually the Toilet Paper Diaries, which broadcast last night with myself and Ernesto Verdugo, and you probably missed it, didn't you? Yes, Dave. Thank you very much. I'm not very good at doing the voices, just my own voice. What we do is we cover a ton of different really interesting things, all about the 21 predictions you need to have for what's going to happen in 2021. So all the things that you loved about this year, and all the things you're dreading about next year, which are in, which are out, and which are going to shake it all about. We're going to share that with you, and you get to see it for a second time if you wanted to watch it. Oh, if you didn't, excuse me, that's my breakfast coming back and waving. Hello! You get to see the Toilet Paper Diaries for the first time up next on Speak on Stage. Your brand is everything. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you look, the way you interact, and the things you've done to help others. When you get your brand right, your industry understands instantly the value that you bring to the table. You're a thought leader. You're the high achiever in the room. And you are the industry icon that everyone turns to when we need to find that way forward. Because in a world where everybody's stepping up, you need to fly. Join the Industry Icon program with Speak on Stage. Hi, welcome to the Toilet Paper Diaries. This is our 80th episode, and we're celebrating it with you by looking at 21 trends and predictions for 2021. This is the Toilet Paper Diaries.
Dave, 80 episodes. We're almost closing the year, and it's just incredible. I've been doing trends and predictions since 2007. I mean, I got the prediction for Obama beating John McCain. That was actually my first set of trends and predictions.
How many of you have ever heard of Barack Obama a year ago? Or a year and a half ago? One person out of the whole room. And right now, he's this close of becoming the next president of the United States.
And then we have worked together in many of these trends and predictions for a long time. And this year, we have one of our most accurate predictions in August. Joe Biden is going to be the next president. 20th of January, 2021, he becomes the president.
We said that Trump wouldn't win. We said that Biden won. Which is probably closer to the truth. Trump didn't win as opposed to Biden would win, because it seemed to be very much about getting Trump out as opposed to getting somebody in. But that's what we said back in August, and everyone just laughed at us. And some of our dear friends told us that not only were we wrong, but they got violently or angrily opposed to us peddling that kind of message out to people. I mean, they didn't really peddle it. I mean, the thing was, we've been watching it from outsiders. I mean, you live in the US, I live from outside. So we're fascinated by what's happened for the last 4 years or so. And so we're kind of like observers, maybe a little bit biased, kind of, when it conflicts with our particular lives. But other than that, we just called it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the points that it's very critical on the way that we see things is that we connect dots. So we just don't only see whatever is shown to us through the media, whether it is the right media, the left media, whatever it is, we see things in very different angles. And what we're going to be presenting to you, I think it's going to really blow your mind, because this is what we think is going to happen with predictions, with a number of different things, because we have been connecting the dots. So let's just get started, because I think it's going to be a very exciting episode of the Toilet Paper Diaries.
I'm very busy as well. Okay, you take the first one, Ernesto.
Okay, so I think, I mean, after 1 year, first we went to, well, we're going to go to virtual. So prediction number one, I think that virtual hang on or title, it's going to be disappearing. I think we are going to start calling it sports, or we're going to start calling it education. It's not going to be virtual sports or virtual education or virtual anything, because right now, this is just the way it is. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I mean, it was a transition title to allow us to get used to a difference between the old way and the new way. But the new way will just be the way. And so we won't even think about it anything else. So I agree with you completely. No more virtual, but we'll still use a term because we're a little bit older.
So Dave, what's number two?
Right, number two is centaurs. And centaurs is a phrase that's used for combining humans and artificial intelligence together, a bit like the horse and human centaurs from Harry Potter and ancient mythology. But this is where you see us mixing our own ability to work with artificial intelligence and humans. Now, this goes back a little bit to the chess world, where you had Gary Kasparov taking on a computer, I think it was Deep Blue or something, and it beat him at computing. But since then, we've found that on occasion, humans are better at certain things than artificial intelligence. But when you put the two together, where we're working alongside it as a reference point and for suggestions and so on, it means that that combination is better than humans on their own. And it's also better than artificial intelligence on its own. So if you want to actually see what that's like, have a look at Tony Stark in Iron Man, where he's talking to his helmet, and that's a perfect example. What you'll be talking to is, first of all, you'll start off talking to Alexa or to Siri or to Google Home, but then there'll be specific programs that become like your friend in your business world or in your personal world that will help you make decisions and be like your own personal butler stroke best mate.
And that's not going to be imaginary, but actually digital.
It is, but I'll still keep it imaginary because I've been talking to people for years anyway.
Yeah. Cool. So on number three, and this one is something that, yeah, I mean, I've been really wondering what's going to be like in 2021. Everybody's saying, well, I hope that 2020 is going to be over as soon as possible. But let me just break it to you that 2021 is just going to be like a continuation of 2020. I think we're just... it's going to feel like 2020 all over again, at least for the next 6 to 8 months. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
I completely agree. I think that here's what I see it like. It's like when you've got a trilogy in movies and they add an extra one. So like The Hunger Games was broken down into 3 episodes and they added a third one before the big action one just to flesh it out and make more money. This transition will just feel like part 2 of 2020. So everybody's walking around saying, I can't wait for 2020 to end. Well, don't hold your breath. It's going to seem like it never went away. And it's probably going to be 2022 or 2023 before it feels like we've come out of a tunnel where we go, right, vaccine's working. I feel free talking to people. I'm actually hugging people again. Well, I'm not, because actually they smell funny. It's going to be a real strange world, especially when you start taking masks off and you realize that halitosis is a thing. People didn't brush their teeth.
I was looking at a meme that said, well, you know, beautiful people should be vaccinated first because the ugly ones look a lot better with the mask.
It's so true. I'll tell you what's really weird, Ernesto. I bought myself a mask the other day, and I bought a mask which had the bit cut out here. And it looks really freaky. I look like Hannibal Lecter. Now, it's cut out, but it's plastic. So people can see my lips move, they can see my face, but it's so tight to me, it's scary. So I think just part Zorro is best for now.
Oh, my God. So what's number 4?
Number 4 is headless e-commerce and direct-to-consumer delivery.
That sounds weird.
Thing. Say again?
That sounds weird.
Yeah, it might be, but it's not cutting off the head from things. It's just that we spend so much time creating brands and having brands related to the beginning and end of buying products. Well, a lot of products will be created to be put into the market so other people can create it and white label it and connect with you. And certainly e-commerce, if you want to buy the latest bar of chocolate, why does it have to come from any particular stocker? Why can't it be available for lots of different people to then have a price war and give you the best effective way of doing it? So a lot of commerce and business will run like that. And so as a result, you'll have a relationship directly with the product, not so much with the people delivering it.
Headless commerce is actually a commerce platform that has the perfect front end simply by not having one, which does not imply that it is brainless. It doesn't mean there's no functionality behind it. So it implies that commerce, the commerce platform, actually becomes a service and the front end is decoupled. So that's why we say headless. Okay? I will give you a very simple example. If you look at voice-driven commerce, so for instance, you have a device at home from a particular brand that you can talk to, you can order something, order yourself a pizza over that platform, which means that you're not going over a web front end and applying all your stuff you need to do there. No, you're using actually headless commerce for that. Why would you need headless commerce? Well, traditional commerce actually places quite some limit on front-end developers, and it lacks quite some personalization capabilities. Therefore, I believe it is less flexible, less scalable. So when would you use headless commerce? Well, first of all, if there's multiple channels, or you think there's going to be multiple channels and you don't know which they are, then it's definitely good to look at headless commerce. Secondly, if you look at commerce platforms that are more experience focused than they are transaction focused. And thirdly, if you believe that commerce should be part of your evolutionary architecture.
Number 5?
Which I think is going to be very related to this one. If you remember Minority Report, I think we're going to go beyond omni-channel and a lot more into personalization. So there's going to be well, you know, there's McDonald's everywhere. There's all sorts of things everywhere. But now, of course, what's important to you? You can already see it on Facebook. You can already see it in social media. You can already see it in many different ways. And when you go into the internet, it's going to be more than anything because, of course, we're going all virtual. Everything it's going to be as personalized as possible to increase sales.
And of course, when you realize that how much of our business is now driven by big data, that is the new oil, that is the new money, that is the new gold, your ability to get access to people's data and find out their trends and what they like. And then you don't even have to look at putting magazines in, and adverts into newspapers and magazines or even onto TV. You can choose to personalize what Google ads or whatever ads come up in their favorite social media. So this is going to be an interesting battleground, but it works better for us as well, because it means if there's certain things that take up your time and waste your time, you won't get those adverts. If you're not interested in buying the latest trendy clothes, you won't get the adverts about trendy clothes. You'll get something you're interested in about video games or politics or whatever it is. So even though it kind of seems sinister at first, with somebody else driving what happens to us, I think the end result will be that the things you're interested in, you get access to more of it.
Yeah. And what's number 6? And I think this one, I think it's brilliant. And I am really hopeful that they're going to implement it in the full, because I think it's going to definitely create some change.
Yeah, I think that number 6 is going to be a bigger knowledge of institutional racism, which up till date has been something that many people are in denial about because they've never experienced it. But it will be across platforms. So literally like a Yelp style review or TripAdvisor review, organizations, companies, restaurants, maybe even people will have a racism score when people flag up that this person has done stuff. I don't think the personal one is going to be such a challenge because people might say that's labeling me, and they might get some court cases about that. But for organizations, it's something that once you've been caught out, it's a really hard thing to shake. And I've got to be honest, from the point of view of somebody of color, I'd rather know who I'm dealing with. I'd much rather walk into a bank or walk into a restaurant or walk into an organization knowing that they've got a completely clean history and are as diverse friendly as possible. And if I find that somewhere has got a bad reputation, then I want to see that they've worked their backsides off to clean up that bad reputation, to prove that they've gone the other way, to be extra friendly to people. Right now, it's your word against mine, to the point that if I flag it up, people would call me a troublemaker. When it's digital and it's written on somebody's virtual nameplate, then that's a big difference to whether they're going to allow it to happen or not.
Well, Yelp has long been a place where customers can praise or criticize a business. As of now, it's also a place where customers can call out a business for racism.
Anything else?
And that has some small businesses concerned because, they say, San Francisco-based Yelp can be helpful, but it can also be cruel, unfair, and abused.
It is all about the reviews, yes, but people usually go for a review only if they have a bad experience.
And if that bad experience includes racial profiling or other racist acts, like this 2018 incident at a Philadelphia Starbucks, customers can file a racist behavior alert that will now show up in the business's review. One woman who said she experienced racial profiling at a restaurant says it's about time.
They kind of shoved the waters at her, took longer with our food than anybody else around us.
My concern is that this new feature on Yelp is going to be misused.
But social media professor Matt Cabot says Yelp reviews are not always an honest or accurate picture.
Peer reviews matter. And right now, as small businesses are struggling in the midst of this pandemic, a label that says that they're racist might mean the end of that business.
Yelp says to prevent false claims, it will also investigate before issuing an alert. In San Jose, Scott Budman, NBC, Bay Area News.
That's a great idea. I absolutely love it. And I think definitely it's going to change the way that things are done. So I really hope that we are correcting that trend or prediction. So let's go to our seventh, which is going to be the work from home. It's just basically going to be work. I mean, we're going to be remote. It's going to outlive COVID. Right now, this is actually creating a big change in the inner cities. We saw all the airplanes that were parked in Arizona and in other places around the world. Well, same things happening with buses, same things happening with metros, with tubes in London. The schedules are right now, before it used to be every 6 minutes, right now there's a train every half an hour. Some places it's just every one time an hour, because of course it's just people are not going to the inner city to work anymore. They keep on working, and this is just not going to change. It's just going to be remote.
What are you hearing from CEOs? Give me your best guess after the pandemic. What percentage of workers at many of these companies are going to be working remotely?
Well, it's definitely going to be a hybrid world. I would say it's going to be half and half. Depending on the industry that you're in and depending on the role that you have. Some people, if you're manufacturing something on assembly line, you're going to go in. But for the most part, it's going to be a hybrid world. The other thing I'm hearing is people are already preparing for working from home or working from anywhere through 2021. Because even if you do get a vaccine, it's obviously not going to get through the global population for somewheres upward of a year, probably a year and a half from now. So this is the new reality that we're living with, and distributed workforces are a thing of not only the present, but also the future. And David, we're never going back to the way the world once was. That world is gone.
And remote, it's just something which is going to normalize. I still believe that there's going to be a lot of issues with which, as they were in 2020, which have to do with cybersecurity and that kind of thing. But remote work, it's here to stay, and that is going to be a huge trend, not only for 2021, but it's going to continue. And migration outside of the cities are getting emptier, like New York, like San Francisco. The smaller cities where they can live a lot better are getting a little bit more crowded. So there's going to be a lot of very interesting changes also coming in 2021, 2022, and I believe 2023, until we actually get ourselves adapted to all these things which are happening.
Definitely. Okay, number 8 is silent Biden and the silent government. After hearing Trump everywhere around the world for 4 years, there'll be a sigh of relief from many people to not hear anything about politics or government or the American president for ages. unless we end up with a two-pope situation. Do you want to explain what a two-pope situation is, Ernesto?
Well, I mean, if you remember, I don't remember when exactly it was in the 14th century or 15th century, whenever it was. There was a pope that was in Rome, in the Vatican, and then there was another pope that was in Avignon in France. And they were sort of trying to figure out who's going to be really the pope, because one pope was the elected by the church pope, and the other pope was the pope that he legitimately believed that he was the pope. And I have the feeling that this might be a case. I mean, we're going to have the president in the Washington, and then we're going to have another president that feels that he's the legitimate president living in Mar-a-Lago. And I mean, right now already they're calling to secession some of the Republican states, and there's going to be a lot of trouble there. I don't think that there's going to be so much so as a silent Biden. Possibly Biden will be in the silent part, but there's going to be a lot of turmoil in that direction.
Well, the thing is, I mean, again, we try and stay away from politics apart from observers, but I can't see how, once he's sworn in to look after the future of democracy, he can allow that to happen without it going to some kind of violence, to be honest with you. Yeah. You got a load of militia who want to stick with this, and you have to get it snubbed out. You have to send the troops in. And I hate to say that as a pacifist, but I don't see a way through a democracy when people are not listening to conversations or arguments or even truth. So
it is incredibly weird how, there's two ways of seeing the world. And it's not parallel, because it's like completely different. It's like a complete different set of realities. And in one way, they are seeing the world. I mean, the blue states or the Democrats are seeing the world. I mean, right now, that's how it is. And in the other one, is just like trying to create all these different evidences so that they will say this was illegitimate and this was not right. And what I think also might be happening is there's a good possibility that the GOP is going to lose Georgia. They're going to lose the Senate. I believe there's going to be turmoil beyond belief in 2021. So I think that's just going to continue.
I'll make a prediction, and I'm happy to be wrong, because I'd hope this whole thing doesn't happen. Because of the way the recent trends have been to move away from supporting the GOP, supporting Fox News, supporting all the Republicans, even from many of the people who are pro-Trump, I think you might find a boomerang effect where you get the original GOP, the original Republicans, even Fox News backing this whole process to say, look, can we have our ball back again? Can we have it the way it was before? And you'll end up with what would be bipartisan actually just being the democratic process of both parties turning on the people who don't believe in democracy or want to go and start their own state, and that will be the way it plays out. I don't think it's going to be a red-blue split, because already the red states are splitting.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's what I think.
I hope you're right. What is number 9, Dave?
Number 9 is augmented reality everywhere. Even at the moment now, we use QR codes, and as soon as you see one on a business card or on a leaflet, you can click on it and suddenly it opens a whole load of world on the internet. But it doesn't even have to be that. It'll be augmented designs. So when you go past a mural or go past graffiti, and all you need to do is hold up your phone with the right program in, and suddenly it'll activate and become a cartoon. So you'll see a mosaic, and it's a mosaic of maybe a genie with a lamp. When you hold your phone up, it will turn around and the genie will start rubbing the lamp and smiling at you and singing a song, and then it'll go back to the beginning again. I think it's going to make a very interesting experience. And once that starts taking off and it's such great advertising, I can't see why most people won't start adapting it, because you want to be at the forefront of why people start playing that battleground with your brand. If people are loving brands because they start playing like that with free gifts or discounts or whatever used to be the former battleground, augmented reality is going to be a major one.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. Number 10, I can see clearly that instead of restaurants, we're going to be having dark kitchens. And all these chefs, all these restaurants, because of course, I mean, those are going to still be there. They're going to be doing everything possible to deliver. And I think it's just not going to be delivering the food, but they're also going to be delivering a little bit of the experience of being in the restaurant itself. I mean, there's already several restaurants which provide, they don't only provide the food, but they provide, the different biscuits or the different whatever it is, so that actually they can make you feel like if you're in the restaurant itself. And I think that's going to be growing a lot more, which goes together also into the fact that there's going to be drive-through 5-course meals, not only McDonald's.
Yeah, there will be much more quality when it comes to, I mean, just go back to the dark kitchens. The way into that restaurant will be through watching the portal or watching the TV show or watching the advertising campaign. So literally what will happen is a chef will come on and say, hi, welcome to Jimmy's Kitchen. Today we're going to make you scrambled eggs, our special meal of the day for breakfast. And watch me, this is how we make it. And it's available all day today, 50% off. And so you'll feel a relationship with a chef and his kitchen, and it'll almost be like, when it's done properly, it'll feel like the late night talk shows where you've got a group of people who are all interacting with the camera and having fun. So Bill, have we got the new eggs ready? Have they been delivered? Not yet. Okay, we'll bring them over when they're ready. And it'll be a conversation that will become like a soap opera for people to enjoy when it's done properly. So
and I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, one of the things that we start experiencing is that they're going to start offering virtual experiences in the restaurant, if you will. I mean, they will have the food, but also, I mean, you can just send in your computer and your television that you're there in the restaurant. There's going to be the crackling fire, which is ASMR oriented, and there's going to be a lot of things which are going to be very creative on that department. And also, I think the vouchers, I mean, people are going to start paying a lot more with vouchers than with anything else.
Well, here's the vouchers. Here's where I see the vouchers going. That when a company, like supposing you've got a business and you've got 100 staff, and you say, right, we're going to take lunch and we're going to have a meeting at lunch. All of you, I've sent you a voucher, a virtual voucher. You can get now onto Deliveroo or Talabat or Uber Eats and just order your food to arrive at 12 o'clock. So at 12 o'clock, everyone gets a ding dong of the phone rings. It goes out, get their food, sit down, they have lunch together. And that could be paid for by the organization. Yeah. So I see a lot more of that being a thing because it makes sense for each of the platforms to do it.
Who would have told you, Dave, that a year from, I mean, 1 year ago, we would be talking about this crazy. I mean, because many of these things are just like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Ernesto, when we start doing toilet paper diaries, in the back of our minds, we knew this wasn't going to go away. We didn't know what it was going to turn into, but the stuff that we're talking about now, all we're really doing is sealing that these new things are now a thing.
Absolutely.
We talked about most predictions, and have you considered how well the logistics are doing when new money is going into delivering food to people's houses and what a lifesaver it is? Well, that lifesaver is now a new business.
Yeah. And what's the next one, Dave?
Number 11 is one-on-one virtual mentors on everything. So I guess it grew pretty much out of either schools of education where you'd have to be online talking to your teacher on Zoom, but then a load of supply teachers arrived that could help your kid virtually to get up to speed, to the fact that why should it just be about kids and education? Why can't it be a mentor that you've got helping you to be better at your job or to teach you guitars or teach you how to cook, and all the different experiences like Airbnb, who have just gone through the roof with their new IP. But there's no reason why we can't have mentors on every subject, because you've got easy access through the internet and you've got 7+ billion people around the world. Somebody's going to help me to trim my beard properly. I just need to find the right person.
Yeah. Number 12, we go to artificial intelligence only job interviews. And this is an interesting one because I believe that right now, with the sophistication of the different algorithms, all you need to do is just fill out an application form, and the algorithm is going to say if you are suitable for the job or not. I think this is just going to be more and more now that we're working remote. This is the way that things are going to go.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. This is why you're wrong on this, and I'm wrong on this. You and I have not been for a job interview for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
You're not talking about this will be. This is now. Before it gets to the physical interview stage, the AI stuff has already sorted out all the applicants. It's looked for all the keywords, all the ones you're looking for, and so it's got a short list of applicants. But here's where I see it being interesting, that the next stage will actually be conducted virtually by artificial intelligence, whether it's going to be answering questions to a Siri-style interviewer. Why can't you have it as a physical, as a person in front of you that looks so artificial but real at the same time? Or you just do it on the phone and you answer questions, and then the way you answer your questions will be what it ultimately says is the best candidate. It doesn't need to have the person doing that. It doesn't even have the team of people doing that. Just one artificial intelligence algorithm should be able to decide who's going to be best for that. And there'll be a backlash and people saying, you know what, this isn't right. I want to talk to humans. Well, sorry, buddy, that's already gone. It went a long time ago when people went through your CV before you even got there.
Yeah. And that, of course, takes us to number 13, which is going to be...
Wow. Number 13, online legal industry.
Can you imagine? I mean, this one really blows my mind.
You think about every single transaction being online and all the disputes that are going to go on. I had a dispute yesterday. I ordered some food while I was in the middle of doing a Zoom call. I ordered some food for the family to be delivered. The food didn't arrive. I looked at it and they said to me, oh, by the way, so, the guy came to your house, rang the doorbell, rang your mobile, sent you a text and sent you an email and went home. So I said, okay, hold on, let me have a check. What number did we ring? And I'd put in the wrong number originally. Now, I didn't know this because we had lots of food delivered to us. But what I do know is my dogs would bark when anybody came to the front door. Certainly, if you ring the doorbell, it's there. So I had to look. Obviously, there's no text message because the number's wrong. I give you that. But no email and no ringing of a doorbell. So I got back to them. I said, right, okay, hold on, this isn't right. They said to me, well, you've missed it now. We're not going to give you a refund and we're not going to send you the food back again. I said, do you really want me to make a big noise? And they said, okay, we'll give you the money back into your account. Now that is me versus the manager. But what's going to happen is there will be a ton of lawyers. Have you not had your food delivered properly? Contact us. We specialize in micro cases. We will, and it's just going to be a thing. Everything from sharing ideas with somebody on the other side of the world and they steal your idea. You'll go through an app which will basically keep the conversation like this, like right now, recording your Zoom calls or whatever you're doing, and that will be evidence, and that will explode. I don't think that this online legal industry will mean more lawyers. I think it'll mean more programmers and more artificial intelligence to take care of the huge amounts of legal issues are going to be. So sorry, lawyers, you're still going to have to get a proper job.
Yeah, well, I had also an issue with one of my clients, and it was right now one of the things that PayPal, Stripe, all the payment companies require is that you have a very, very well set terms and conditions. So your terms and conditions need to be really very nicely set, and I think it's very important that you actually get with somebody to craft your terms and conditions, because if not, you can really get yourself in trouble. And that takes us to our next one, which is going to be number 14. And that is going to be video. And I think it is just incredibly important, right? Everything is going to go video. This year, the usage of video on YouTube grew tremendously. I mean, I think it was something like 65%, and then it just got stable at about 50% throughout the rest of the year. And it's going to continue like that. There might be a few other platforms Right now, OTT television, which is over-the-top television, has also gone very strong. Right now, I mean, previously, if you wanted to get channels like Disney TV and ESPN and whatever, that was quite expensive. Right now, what they are doing is they're bundling different channels which are interesting to you, and they're becoming more available. Right now, you can watch YouTube in your television. So if you are not using video for your business, and this is not only Zoom, I think the two most important platforms this year were Zoom and YouTube. And I think next year, they're going to continue to be the two most important platforms. So if you're not using video for your business, it's really too late. You really have to start moving fast. I believe that there's going to be in the same way as we learn how to use PowerPoint, that we used to use what are the other, Excel and Word and all these other. You need to learn right now how to edit video, because 2021 it's going to be everything video.
And it's incredible how many apps are coming out that help you to do that. They help you to make your sound automated. They help you to choose how long your video is going to be made and change the colors of it. It's going to be very easy to do. Plus, there's going to be a whole supplier industry that comes out of supplying the people who don't know how to make video properly. There'll be freelancers across the globe who will literally say, give it to me, and my farm of video editors will look after your brand and give you it back when you need it.
Yeah.
You just book us for an hour.
Absolutely. So much so that I believe that it's going to be the beginning of the death of PowerPoint. You will see it happening.
I would be surprised. I would be surprised. Okay, next up, and I'm always keen to have what comes next, and you're going to love what comes after this one. 360-degree virtual goggle-based workspaces, not Google, goggles. So for now, they're going to be goggles, but they won't be for long. They'll just be your glasses, or there'll be an implant or something, and you literally will choose where you're going to work. So if you're going to be virtual, there's no reason why you can't lean across to somebody and talk to them, because there'll be a hologram, or even better, a virtual version of them there. So why would you need to worry about being in a normal office space or decorating? You can choose to have whatever the group color scheme is. So either as a company, you'll choose whether you're working in a castle, you're working underwater, and you can have your avatars augmented to be like that, or you choose what view of your company you want it to be. So I might choose, I want everyone to be Avengers or Disney characters or aliens. And as I look around, I can see all my colleagues like that. There's no reason why this can't be implemented in a world where already we're using a ton of stuff on Snapchat, even on Zoom, to make our ears appear and all the rest of it, and beards and so on. It's going to be very interesting. But again, it's going to lead towards the death of the office. Now, one thing that we've got to consider for the death of the office is that all the big players in tech want to get you hooked on paying for everybody who's using remote work from home software.
Yeah.
So as a company, they want you to pay for the 5 staff, for the 100 staff, for the 2,000 staff. They don't want you in an office where you can walk through and they don't get any money from that. So beware, it's coming and it's already here.
Yeah. Number 16. And this one is a bit weird, but I already see it happening. I mean, right now, last time I was driving and I had to stop just to go to the toilet, and the toilet in Starbucks was closed.
Right. Did you need a number 1 or a number 2?
It was a number 1.
Okay.
But then what happened was that, I mean, what do you do? There's no bushes, there's nothing so we can go actually to the restroom. And I think right now they're already starting to implement those touchless toilets, which I think are going to be really appearing everywhere, because of course this is still an issue. We still have to pee.
2 things. First one is, what did you do next? Don't answer it. I just want to know that you know an answer. And secondly, when you say touchless, how are you going to get it out? Don't answer that either.
Well, I have an answer for both of them.
Okay, go on then.
Well, I tell you, I mean, when I used to be when I was doing my cross-country flying on the Cessna, you had to always take a jar with you. So after I learned that it was just almost impossible to take a pee anywhere. Anytime I'm gonna go in the car, I take a jar.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, this is the world that we're living in.
The world you're living in. Let me make a note of things I never want to hear come out from Ernesto ever again. And if I ever sit in your car again and I say, I've got a bottle of Coke, do you want half of it? And you say, yeah, pour it into that jar.
It's actually not Coke. It's a little bit more like Red Bull. Let's change the subjects. Go to the next one, please. Go to the next one, please.
Moving on. Let's have a commercial break. We can edit out Ernesto from the rest of the podcast.
And you know what? It goes to PPE. Oh, sorry. That next
PPE.
one.
PPE. Right, let's move on and let's say PPE does not stand for when Ernesto stutters, but he needs to go to the bathroom. Let's go for personal protection equipment. And we're saying that that's going to be available from vending machines everywhere you go, like bottles of water, like candy. You're going to be able to buy that. Even once there's a vaccine everywhere, there's going to be a need for people to have it. And I would equate this to being like, I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine that after the Second World War, when everyone used to walk around with gas masks on them, just in case, even after there would be a period of time where everyone was carrying a gas masks, in case even after the war had finished, something still happened. I think these PPE vending machines will be around for a little bit longer. Whether they disappear or not completely depends on the market forces and the demand. I think you'll end up finding unused ones in public places will disappear, but you'll always know that in a bathroom or somewhere like that, or in a pharmacy, there'll be a PPE vending machine you can always use.
Yeah.
All right.
Then,
I was going to say number 18.
Number 18 is going to be virtual only shopping malls. And we can see it already. I mean, here, we had a very beautiful shopping mall. Right now, it's relatively empty. Half of the shops are empty. Even the Apple store is empty. I mean, it's just incredible. So right now, more than anything, it's just buying stuff online. So right now, previously, you used to go to Amazon, and that was it. Right now, Walmart here in the United States has already joined that e-commerce world, and I believe that there's going to be more integration of in the different places that you will be able to go to different shops. What's your take on that, Dave?
I agree with you. I think that we'll have virtual shopping malls that you'll go into, like a virtual platform, and you'll have the shops that you select, maybe because of artificial intelligence choosing the shops that you want to go to. If I could go to a mall that only had the shops in that I wanted to go to, whether it's done virtually or in the real world, I'm happy all the way through. I don't want to go to certain shops that I get dragged into screaming and kicking. But I'll tell you what you'll have as well. You know, when you and I go to AppSumo, and before they show you an app, they have a video describing everything. I think there's going to be a lot more of that for mundane or normal products, and also for upgrades and new lines of things. So I think what you'll lose in staff coming up to you one by one and saying, "Can I help you, sir?" You'll end up with staff who instead are paid to be normal people, just demonstrating the brand new mouse for your computer. This is what we recommend at $14 or whatever it will be on a short 20-second, 30-second video. But when you browse over it on the website, it will pop up and tell you what your product is.
Yeah. And once again, video is mentioned again. So listen carefully, because this is a huge trend for 2021. 19, Dave.
19. A ton of new experiences and things that aren't going to be a reaction to turning things digital. So right now, when we talk about a virtual shopping mall, or we talk about virtual sports or virtual education, these are taking the existing bricks and mortar versions of what we do and making it a digital version or a Zoom version or an online accessible version. But once you've got that happening, there'll be a number of things that people turn around and say, well, whilst we're not going into real world anyway, why don't we add more? So therefore, you'll have a ton of things that happen. Like, for instance, why have Siri, for instance, only on your phone, when instead you could have it as a pop-up character that sits on your desk and talks to you? And you can design the avatar, male or female. It can sit on your shoulder. It can tell you jokes when you're interested or not interested. It can wake you up. It can feel sorry for you. Basically, even looking at your facial recognition at any part of the day. So I see a whole lot of industry that will just be stuff that we didn't have before, where people just go, oh, that's a really good invention. So the sky's the limit, or at least virtual space will be the limit for incredibly creative people who can program stuff that we didn't know we wanted, but soon we won't be able to do without, but didn't have an existing real world counterpart before.
Cool. Number 20, and I think this is just something that we have not spoken about, but I think it's also going to be a huge trend. And of course, we're going to have to talk about travel. And when we talk about travel, we have to see, well, you know, I mean, right now we know that we have to travel with a mask. We know that in some places we have to quarantine. This is where we believe things are going to go. I mean, we're going to have a vaccination passport. And in some places, and I believe that you will not be able to even check into the aircraft unless you can actually show your vaccination passport. And I think this is gonna come. I mean, I have had my vaccination passport since 1993 when I started working for KLM. It's a yellow passport. And when I used to go to Africa or some places in Asia, they always had a stamp that I have had whatever vaccinations they were required for this country. But I believe that this is going to be almost as important as your real passport, the vaccination passport. And people
your driving license will be.
Yeah.
They need to know that if you're coming through, then you've had the vaccination and it's recent. Otherwise, you just won't get in. I agree with you completely. I mean, my dogs can't travel to any country unless they've shown that they've had rabies shots and various other things, and they've had them for a long period of time, and they've kept them up for a couple of years. And last but not least, number 21 for 2021 is dating. Because there's a load of people who haven't been meeting a load of other people and they're getting full and desperate. So
can you imagine?
It's going to be really weird, or it's going to be very weird and very super safe. Like, how are you? How are you? And we're just going to do it like that. And we're going to say, right, okay, their hands will be busy, I would imagine, if they're dating online and having a virtual date. But what it could end up being is super dirty. And when I say super dirty, I mean people just go, you know what? The summer of love is 2021. Let's just do it. And there will be a ton of babies with random people who just say, physically, I can meet people again. I don't care. You'll do. Hole in a heartbeat. Come over here. I think as soon as the vaccine is normalized, and the thing is, it's got to be, apparently Dr. Fauci was saying 80% of the population has to have the vaccine for the herd mentality, the herd physicality to take place. But once you've got that, people come back to clubs again, start proper dating relationships again, hug people again. I just don't think it's going to stop there. I think there's going to be a lot more upstairs and downstairs hugging than you could imagine. But hey, you know, it's nice to bring some more love into the world.
Yeah. Well, that was our entire list of 21 trends and predictions. I believe that we're going to be very accurate in over 80% of them. What do you think, Dave?
Well, it'd be nice if the last one came true for 99% of us. Yeah, well, it's a watch this space. I mean, we had a longer list than this, and we pruned it right down because you can go down the tech route, you can go down the politics route, you can go down the social norms. I mean, are people going to hug? Are they going to do elbows? I recently was speaking at an event where it was a proper event. People wearing masks, social distancing, seats were 2 meters apart, and everyone you went up to, you fist bumped or you elbow bumped, and it didn't seem weird. Yeah. Even people you already knew, you stopped yourself from shaking their hands because you know it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And so what was before laughed at was a normal greeting, you know, nice to meet you, fist bump, or a nod, or you cover your heart like that. And I think that we're just talking about a ton of different things. When we get together at the end of next year and say what was true, what was not true, it'll be interesting to say that the murder hornets and all the other things that were bonkers in 2020, there's a load of predictions we just could not have thought of. And it's kind of exciting because some were brilliant. It's kind of scary because maybe that comet or that meteor will be making its way back before we knew it. But whatever it is, we never get bored.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe because we're going to be having another great show with all the crazy moments of 2020 and a lot more coming on 2021. Dave, 80 shows, 10 months on semi-quarantine, and it has always been an absolute pleasure sharing these moments with you.
I agree completely, and on and onwards and upwards. And at some point, we were doing this show, and I'll have a little virtual Ernesto sitting on my desk, and I'll say, "How are you?" And you'll say, "Dave," and I'll say, "Yes." And you'll say, "I need a pee." And I'll say,
Here's
"Get off my
jar."
shoulder." Yeah, I'll go like this.
Okay. On that note, oh
Knock
my
yourself
God.
out.
This is getting too weird. See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The most human trait is to want to know why. And in a year that tested everyone around the world, why was searched more than ever.
The spread of the coronavirus has passed a significant milestone.
And while we didn't find all the answers, we kept asking. Some questions inspired joy, others excitement.
Life in the bubble.
You love me? Yes. You love me? Yes. You love me? Yes.
I don't know what an improper fraction is.
Teacher should make $1 billion.
We found politics, y'all.
Oh my God.
Put it on there and start it up for me.
What are y'all doing? It's still March. How many days in March?
Some questions made us cry.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs. I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. I love you guys.
Some made us worry about this spinning rock we call home.
Fires were detected in the Amazon rainforest.
Why were so many lives lost?
Almost 1.5 million people have now died of COVID-19 worldwide.
Why are we still asking the same questions?
George Floyd repeatedly told the officers that he could not breathe.
So why do we still have strength to continue?
I believe in your power. I believe in our power.
Chants of Black Lives Matter echoed from thousands of protesters in cities around the world.
Why are we not defeated?
We have made too much progress, and we are not going back. We are going forward.
Planes are starting to arrive in Beirut, full of international aid.
Firefighters from around the world arriving in California.
There are over 100 coronavirus vaccines in development worldwide.
This is one of those times when people look out for one another and have each other's backs.
We kept going for those who showed us the way.
Think about how you would like the world to be for your daughters and granddaughters.
Remember, the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. Press on with pride and press on with purpose.
Why is it that this year showed us its worst and we still found ways to triumph?
An incredible feat for Maya Gabriela.
Naomi Osaka, U.S. Open Championship.
Can't let Corona stop you. Can't let quarantine stop you.
So until we get to every answer, we're still searching.